Hi, my name is Nikki. Thought I would start documenting my journey through the gastric sleeve. I went to the orientation in, I think it was the end of January, and learned all about the program. And then I had the 2 weeks to decide. A little bit about my history. I'm 42 and I've been well over 150 pounds overweight since I was probably in my late teens. I almost did the gastric bypass surgery when I was 19, but I decided last minute, well, I shouldn't say last minute, I kind of went through all of the appointments and the checkups and all that stuff that you have to go through. I went through it for months and months and months with lots of travel time, and then I kind of decided last minute that I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to permanently alter my anatomy as I kind of thought of it. So, flash forward 20 years later, and, I presumed I could get rid of the weight in my young, naive thought process. I thought I could get rid of it on my own through diet and exercise, and I tried many diets, and I've always done some form of activity at some point or another, and I've never lost any weight. Even when I was really avid about my workout, and I was working out every single morning for almost 2 years, I never lost any weight. And the only time I've ever lost weight, and that was only maybe 40 or 50 pounds, is when I basically starved myself. So for me, I know that the only thing that really affects my actual weight is caloric intake. And I did really well, and then it just all sort of slowly cut back. And I had my daughter in July of 2012, and that's when my health kind of took a turn for the worse, because despite my size my whole life, I never had any issues like high blood pressure or I never had diabetes. When I was pregnant, they thought I would get diabetes, so I was on strict advice to not gain any weight while I was pregnant, which is pretty darn hard, but I actually managed to do it, and I actually lost 30 pounds while I was pregnant. So, but as soon as I had her, all activity that I was doing stopped, and I just started eating really poorly. And as we all know, when we become new mothers, we don't really focus on ourselves anymore, and I really let my health get bad, and I have all these back issues already, and they got worse, and it made me even less capable of doing activity. And now my daughter's turning 4 this July, and I just kind of had this big epiphany that I want to be alive and be able to not just be alive, but I want to be healthy and active for her and be a good example for her. And so I got diagnosed with diabetes, I believe November 2014, 15, I want to say 2 years ago, and that almost ended up being a good thing, because when I got diagnosed with diabetes, it woke me up, and I thought, my God, all these years I didn't get it when I was pregnant, and now I have it. As soon as I got diagnosed with it, I managed to get it under control just with a slight change in my diet, because every blood work test I did after that all came back with good levels. Like, I never ended up having high levels again. It's been under control ever since I got diagnosed with it, which was a good thing. But my doctor, who happens to be part of the board of on the board of weight loss within my city, is and I'm in British Columbia, Canada. I just thought I'd mention that. He recommended this bariatric program for me, and asked if it was something I wanted to consider, since I seemed to have the diabetes under control and diet and that sort of frame of mind under control. He thought, well, like, the last thing we needed to tackle was my weight. And when I told him all the things that I'd gone through all my life, and the fact that I just never really seemed to lose weight no matter what I did, he asked if I was interested in surgery, and I said, well, funny enough, I almost did it 20 years ago, and backed out. And so he just sort of explained all the advances over the years, and it's changed, and there's different options now, and it's laparoscopic, and you can be home basically the next day, and all these different things. And so of course I was like, wow, that's really interesting. So he put me in the program, and I went to the orientation, and I just learned all about, like I say, the new options, and about the gastric sleeve, which is what ultimately I'm getting and what I decided that I wanted to get. And I think one of the biggest shockers in the orientation that I learned was like just things like the lifespan of a person that's, that's as obese as I am, and the fact that they have the lifespan of a cancer patient. And when they said those words, it kind of just, again, another wake-up call. And I thought, my God, I've got this little, at the time, 3-year-old, and I don't want her to be without a mother because I couldn't get this under control. So they gave me the 2 weeks to decide. I think I took 3 days to decide. It was mostly just, trying to not convince, but explain to my husband, the reasons why it would be a good thing to do this, because of course everybody that cares about you, the first thing they think about is, my God, surgery, that sounds so extreme. When they find out how much or how little food you're going to be eating, they all think it sounds dangerous, and it just, everybody that cares about you has all these questions. But kind of just explained them all away and told them that, what's the alternative? I could pluck away the way I am now and not live very long, or at least not even live a very productive life. Can't even pick my child up. I can't run with her in the park. I can't do any of those things. So, it was kind of a no-brainer, and everybody that does care about me eventually did. Well, not eventually. It didn't take very long for people to get on board. So it's May 19th today, 2016. As soon as I was in that orientation, I completely changed my life. One of the things they said is that you have to get, it's a given, you have to get at least a minimum of 30 minutes of activity a day, or you're just never going to get better. It's not necessarily going to cause you to have weight loss, but it's going to help you to be healthier. And I knew that because, the reason why my body was sore all the time is because I was never doing anything. So the first thing I tackled was trying to find a way to get activity in my life, because the dilemma that I had for the past 3 years, and the reason why I hadn't done any, is because I have a really frustrating schedule. My husband works evenings, so I have my daughter alone, so I don't have anybody to watch her while I go work out at night. My lunch hours were always completely packed because I'd be driving her to daycare or dropping my husband off at work. I just was always running around on my lunch breaks, and the only time that it left was getting up before work, and I just couldn't do that for the longest time because I also have a daughter that's a really bad sleeper and wakes up constantly throughout the night, and I'm a bad sleeper, so I am just exhausted all the time, and it just made it really hard to imagine getting up even earlier than I already did when I had no sleep. And that was the sort of dilemma I've had for the past few years, but I just basically said, enough's enough. I need to just do it. I need to just make it happen. So the activity that I'd always done that I liked and that was good for my body, so I didn't have the strain, is I love being in the pool, and I water jog, and because I can go really, really, really intensely for 30-40 minutes and just really get a good workout. So I started water jogging, and I started off slowly, like a few days a week, and then within 2 weeks I decided I'm going to do it 5 days a week. And I get up at 5:30 in the morning, and I'm in the pool at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm in there for 30 to 40 minutes actually, 5 days a week. And it's been almost 3 months that I've been doing that now, and I have an instant improvement in my pain. I was always in pain before with my back, and now it's not all gone. I still have back pain, but it's so diminished, and I just find that I get up and I'm more agile and just in the 3 months, that's made a huge difference. So I can't even imagine when I lose the weight. And of course I started watching what I eat because, that's one of the other things you have to do. So you sort of get all these different goals each week from the dietitian to sort of conquer. So between those two things, I was just doing really well. And when I took the orientation, they said that the average wait time for getting a date for surgery was approximately 9 months, give or take, some people less, some people more. So I really wasn't anticipating having a surgery or getting even approved or anything like that until after the summer, September, maybe October. But everything was just going so well, and all my appointments, they seemed impressed by what I was doing and the discipline I was having. And I think I had a lot of other health things going for me, which a lot of people might have going against them. Like, I've never been a smoker. I don't drink pop. I don't do all those things. So I didn't have those habits to give up, which I think also helped. But anyways, fast forward, I think it was 2 weeks ago, not quite 3 weeks ago, I got the call that basically I had my surgery. I was approved for surgery. And I was like, whoa. And then I didn't quite have the date yet. I just knew it was coming. And then all my other appointments started getting bumped up. And then all of a sudden I got the call that my surgery is the 24th of May, which is this Tuesday coming up. So within a span of like 3 weeks, everything happened. I just had my scope yesterday, which, not a very fun procedure, but I survived. I've been going to, as anybody that knows that's in one of these programs, just a bombardment of appointments and schedules. And I'm very lucky that I have a job that I can take that time off to do it. I can take the time off after that I need to recover. Not everybody has that luxury, but I do. I'm also very, very lucky that I live 5 minutes from where the program is and all the appointments are. A lot of people have to come in from out of town, and I have a lot of sympathy for those people because that takes a lot more work. So I really had no excuse to never miss appointments and do all that. Otherwise, that'd be pretty bad. But anyways, my appointment's coming. The kind of neat thing about being in this program too is they send you for so much testing of all kinds of things that you would never think to get tested on. So it's kind of neat because you find out whether you have other issues. And I've been really lucky, and everything has come back clear and good. And the only thing that I found out that is a real bitch is that I have supposedly pretty severe sleep apnea. So that's probably why I'm tired all the time. I just presumed it was only because of my toddler, but it's apparently because I have sleep apnea. So that, there's a huge chance that will dissipate when I lose weight, and I'm crossing my fingers that that's going to be the case, because I actually have no anxiety about the surgery. I'm super excited about the surgery. I have a lot of anxiety about the sleep apnea because they're trying me with this darn CPAP machine, and I'm extremely claustrophobic, so I am not doing well with the CPAP machine at all, and I don't think I will be able to. I just really don't. And some people are like, oh, give it time, it takes time to get used to. I just really don't. I wake up in the dark with this mask on my face and I have like a massive panic attack. So we're going to try different alternatives, but I just don't really think I'm going to be able to do it. So I'm just really hoping that it's something that gets better as I lose weight anyways, and it won't be an issue. So that's sort of one dilemma, and I'm probably really stressed about it because I'm dealing with that at the same time as the surgery. Like, it probably would have been better if I had the chance to figure that out months before I had the surgery, but it just didn't work out that way. All the appointments happened so fast, and they just discovered this about me, and so anyways, we'll see how that works out over the time. But so I can't remember if I said how much I weigh, but when I started in the orientation, I was 294 or 96, and I got weighed on the 9th with one of my last dietitian appointments, where she was giving me the pre-op diet, and then when they weighed me, I weighed 294, but I know I'd come up and down. I lost, and then I gained a bit as I started swimming, because obviously I'm gaining muscle. So my body, people keep saying, well, you look like you've lost weight, because my body obviously is probably shrinking a bit because of the swimming. But then 3 days later, I went for my pre-admin appointment to the hospital, and they weighed me, and I was 283. So in 3 or 4 days, I lost 10 pounds, which is crazy, crazy. But that's just from being on the pre-op diet, which is, I have to say, pretty brutal. The pre-op diet. Now, every program's different with what they put people on. The food itself is not, I'm just eating normal food. It's good food. I like it's just healthy. It's like chicken and vegetables and yogurt, and it's just that it's a very small quantity. Like, it's quite a bit lower than, obviously, clearly, what I was eating. So that was the hardest part, is like just all of a sudden drastically dropping my calories. Also, I eat the same thing every single day for like 2 weeks. The hardest part was probably the weekends, when you go out with, like, when I go with my husband or friends, and you're eating out and everybody's eating good stuff around you, and you kind of have to eat that small little quantity of like chicken and vegetables and nothing else. But I don't know, after all this time, I'm kind of used to it by now. The hardest is when I did the scope. I had to, the scope was at 2:30 in the afternoon, and I had to stop eating at midnight the night before, so I was literally starving, and I couldn't even have water, so I was super dehydrated. That's the other thing I just want to point out too, like, be really good with your water, because that's what I have, a giant, huge, Clean Canteen, stainless steel insulated bottle, so I always have cold water all the time, because all the blogs that I read and all the videos that I watch, everybody just talks about being really hydrated. So it's something I work hard on. And it's Friday, it's Thursday, and my appointment at my surgery is Tuesday, so this weekend is sort of my final moment before then, and we'll see how everything goes. Sorry, there's just float planes up there. Again, I'm really excited. So sort of, and the funny thing is, this is all going to happen. It'll be a month into the surgery, and I'll be having my 43rd birthday. So it's kind of exciting that this is all getting done before my 43rd birthday, because I wasn't expecting that. So as of today, I weigh 283. We'll see. My goal weight, they ask you things about what your goal is, and I really I'm not a person that likes to focus on numbers. I never have. I like to focus on size and feeling. And so I just told them my goal is to just be able to actually, like, run around with my daughter and, like, do things I never used to be able to do, like hiking and go horseback riding and stuff like that, and maybe kayaking or something, things that you'd be afraid of to do before. And so, but they like to know what your number is, and I think ideally for because I'm 5'4", so I think my ideal weight is something like 130 or 140. I don't know if I'll ever, or if I want to even ever get to that size. I don't know. I guess in my 40s, I've grown to love my curves, so I don't necessarily want to be a tiny, skinny little person. But if that is a side effect in my mind to becoming healthy and fit, then I guess so. But I'm just looking to get, I haven't been below 200 since I was in my teens, so I'm looking to get below 200. And then from there, set new goals each time, like, 175, and then maybe 160, and then maybe 150. And maybe at 150, I'll be happy with myself. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of go with the flow and keep losing weight until I feel comfortable. So I don't know what that will be, what number that will be. Some of my fears, I guess, are, everybody asks if I'm going to be freaked out about not eating and all that, and I kind of am not. Food has become such a bane of my existence, and I'm not going to lie and say I don't like food, but I've had this discussion with some of my friends who are true foodies, and I think the difference between me and them is that, I've used this analogy with them before, but if somebody told me tomorrow that they invented a pill that I could take and I would never have to eat again, I'd probably be okay with that. I might after a while miss the taste of chocolate or the taste of a potato chip or something like that. But I wouldn't be upset, whereas my husband is a huge foodie, or some friends are huge foodies, and if you tell them they could never have something they love, they would be actually depressed and they would be really upset about it. And I don't really have that mindset. I could be naive. Once I start not having those things, I could completely go through withdrawal and be like, oh my God. But I don't know. I'm not really scared of not eating. I'm sure it will be tough, but it's, I don't know. I just look at it more like I can't wait to have this tool, that's the term they use all the time, this tool to help me eat less and not feel hungry. Because I know that one day I'll still be able to eat things that I love one day. Maybe. I understand that sometimes people develop intolerances, or you just might never be able to handle certain foods again. Okay, that's fine. But I know this isn't saying that the rest of my life I can't have, I don't know, I can never ever have, I don't know, I can try to think of something I love. I can never ever have a potato chip again. I just can never have the amount that I would have eaten before. And so I just already have that mindset, like I'll be happy if I have one and I'm completely satisfied. Or maybe I'll never crave it or want it again once I get healthy. I'll just crave the healthy stuff. We'll see. But I'm not really scared of that. I think a lot of people get scared of the food thing, and I'm just really not. And I'm kind of a weirdo, and I like chocolate protein shakes. I'm not really afraid of that part of the thing. But again, we'll see how I'll check in a month or two down the road and see if I was completely out of my mind thinking that. But physically, of course, I'm afraid of like the whole loose skin syndrome that I'm sure I'm gonna have. Don't want my husband to be repulsed by me, because that's not a pretty thing. But from everything that I've watched and I've read, everybody says get the hell over that, because the trade-off is a healthy life. And you look good in clothes. Who cares if you've got loose skin underneath the clothes? And the other thing for me, the reality that kind of kicked into, was like, at my weight, I have loose skin now. I have flab and arms and rolls now. So what's the better option? To have those things but be slim and fit and healthy and look good in clothes, I can cover those things up, whatever, or have all those things now and be limited and unhealthy and all that. So it is what it is. Would I ever have surgery to fix it? Sure, hell yeah, if I could afford it. I don't think I ever would be able to afford it, but we'll see what happens. I'm just kind of looking forward to, like I say, being more mobile after this, because I do not like being in my early 40s and feeling like I'm a 60-year-old woman because I'm aching and I have so many aches and pains. So yeah, I think, I watch some vloggers and they check in weekly or monthly. I don't know if I would have the time to do that. I don't know if anybody's even interested for me to do that. We'll see what happens when I post this. I think I'll try maybe monthly or every 3 months or so to sort of check in with this and do a video. I think it's also more exciting because you probably see more of a drastic difference when people are putting a more space in between checking in. But it's mostly just because I have a little girl who, like, the only reason I can do this right now is because she's asleep. But I never have time to do this, and the only time I do is late at night after she's already in bed, and I probably look like crap, and I certainly don't want to record myself like that. So it'll be hard for me to find moments where I can do it. But so yeah, anyway, that's that. And I guess seems to be the thing that people like to show their whole bodies before they do it. I have taken some photos. I'm going to take photos before and after as I've done this. And I'm sure when I hit my 1 year mark, I'll do some sort of fancy video photo montage of like the before and after. So I won't bother showing those now, but I will at one point show those photos. So I don't know if this video does justice, but this is my body now. So yeah, I've already got rolls. I've already got very saggy arms, which are my huge, that's my huge embarrassment. I do not like showing my arms. That's why this is actually a bathing suit top, and I don't show my arms because I hate them. And I think I will, even after I lose weight, have a butt, because I've had it ever since I was a kid. So my belly, so anyway, this is my body, 283. We'll see how I look after I lost weight. Okay.